You know, I've always been a great admirer of your ability as a poet. Have you had to work hard at it, or is it just sheer genius?
It comes to me. It comes to me naturally. And I do it mainly because of my fights, little simple rhymes. I just wrote a poem the other day entitled Truth. It says, the face of truth is open. The eyes of truth are bright. The lips of truth are ever closed. The head of truth is upright. The breast of truth stands forward. The gaze of truth is straight. Truth has neither fear nor doubt. Truth has patience to wait. The words of truth are touching. The voice of truth is deep. The law of truth is simple. All you sow, you reap. The soul of truth is flaming. The heart of truth is warm. The mind of truth is clear and firm through rain and storm. Facts are only its shadow. Truth stands above all sin. Great be the battle of life. Truth in the end shall win. The image of truth is the cross. Wisdom's message is its rod. The sign of truth is Christ, and the soul of truth is God. Life of truth is eternal. Immortal is its past. Power of truth shall endure. Truth shall hold to the last. That's a masterpiece.
Now, did you...
Hey, I'm Ced Hawkins. Welcome to the CedTalks Podcast. My guest today is a student at Towson University. I'm proud to showcase her talents on the show today, and I'm looking forward to catching up with her. Without further ado, here is Bizz Boley. Bizz, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Cedric.
Yeah, we was talking about it earlier, like, I got you up so early just to do this, but I'm a morning person regardless, but either way, I'm glad you agreed to come on.
I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. I know right now we're in the midst of college and everything. We all got busy schedules and whatnot. What keeps you staying disciplined while you're maintaining your schedule?
One thing that's really important to me is creating a schedule, like, on physical paper. I have a huge, calendar, and I write out everything I have to do throughout the week, and it's kind of like setting goals. And so it makes me feel accomplished when I get to go across and cross out each individual thing I have to do, whether that's, going to the gym early in the morning or completing an assignment ahead of time in case I have questions to ask the professor. But I think setting goals is really important, especially during all this.
Right. It was always something that was stressed to us as students in high school, but I never really picked up on that until I got to college myself. So it really wasn't until we were in the pandemic and I was at home that I really had to force myself to set schedules and routines for myself and setting goals to help make sure I was doing what I was supposed to do. Because when you have so much free time, you pretty much think you have time. But as being a college student, you know that there's no such thing as free time.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I can completely agree. If you don't write it out or do something, you will forget about it.
Yeah.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, like I have a geography assignment that's due on Sunday, and I did it ahead of time because I knew. He said, oh, you have 2.5 weeks to get it done. I was like, you think you have time for that, but time goes by so fast with your other classes, and it's just not enough time to watch a documentary then write a paper on it.
Oh, absolutely. I know I have 2 papers due next week, and I'm like, oh, that's plenty of time, but if you don't get started and you wait, oh, man, it'll definitely come right back at you.
Right, yeah. Sticky notes are my thing. That's how I'm able to stay focused, and I just attach them everywhere in my room or in my car just to keep me focused. Do you have planners, or do you write everything in a notebook? What's your way of remembering things?
I have a huge desk calendar, so it literally takes up my whole desk, and each day I write literally my schedule. So, today, 9 a.m. podcast, 11:30 interview, 12 interview, 2 class, grocery shopping later. Then, all my homework assignments, if they're due today, I'll put at the bottom, economics due at 11 or something, just to keep me, even if I've already done it, that way I know I've completed it. And like I said, it's just having, little goals and crossing them off. And then I also, just because I get so anxious, I have a notebook, too, and I write everything out I need to do for the whole week.
Right, absolutely. That's I think taking notes is key, especially as being a college student, or maybe not even if you're a student and you're just living your typical average everyday life. It's we all have stuff that we have to get done, and we all forget stuff. We're human. We're coming up as adults, so I think finding ways to set routines and schedules for yourself will help keep you going towards your purpose.
Yeah, no, totally. Keeps you on track.
Yeah, absolutely. When COVID first happened last year in March, this was your first time at Towson, right? Your first semester.
Yeah.
How did that affect you, being on campus and then having to come back home?
Yeah, no, from going from community college and living at home, and then, you get sent off, you're like, oh, I'm going to be living away from home on my own. It was a lot of fun, and then, I think it was only like a month, and then they're like, never mind, you're going right back home. I'd say, like, it was definitely weird, and obviously the pandemic's, like, affected me since then, but it was definitely tough, I'd say, trying to figure out a routine with my classes and living at home, and, like, I have a pretty big family, so everyone being home just, like, was so hard to focus on my classes and getting assignments done and not wanting to go hang out with my younger brother or see what everyone's up to. Yeah, it was definitely very challenging.
Yeah, did you have a hard time adjusting to the online model, or did you pick up on it very quickly?
I think I picked up on it very quickly, but at the time I was taking 2 math classes that were, like, higher level, and it was so hard to learn math online. Like, that was very challenging.
Yeah, I bet. I was already doing online classes at that time. Like, I was doing 5 classes, so I did 2 online and then 3 in person. So there would be times where I'd just go to the library or to Starbucks and just study in there and then just go straight to class. So once the pandemic happened, it forced me to be at home and have to do my work. So it was definitely a challenge in terms of focusing, but I was already used to the online model, so I didn't really have a problem with adjusting to everything.
Yeah, no, I took 1 online before that, and I don't mind online. I actually really like asynchronous classes, or the classes where you don't have to meet with a professor or anything, and they just set out, like, when everything is due, because then it holds me accountable for completing all my assignments, and I do it on my own. And then I think it just, like, makes me more like, oh, I need to learn this. Like, I don't have extra, a hand to help me with everything. And I usually do so much better when it's me controlling when I need to complete everything versus, like, when you meet with a professor and you have, like, your scheduled class time. I'm just, like, just as lost and, still, like, confused versus, like, if it's pre-recorded lectures, I can watch them at my own pace. I can, when I want to learn it, versus, like, oh, you have class at 2, but, like, maybe I don't feel like I want to go to class at 2, or I'm not, like, energized enough.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, I've always been independent when it comes to my schoolwork, so I've always liked doing my schoolwork on my own. Like, this morning, for example, I got up at 5:30 just to work on some communications homework for over an hour before going to the grocery store. So it's like I'm doing it on my own time versus going to class at 10 a.m. and me not feeling like sitting in class for an hour and a half, feeling like I could be using this time to meditate or read or do something that I want to do versus feeling obligated to do this when I already know what I should be doing on my own.
5:30.
Yeah, I told you I'm a morning person. I'm up early.
That I don't know about that.
Nah, but I take naps during the day, so I compensate for getting up early.
Oh yeah, if you're getting up that early, you got to get a nap in.
Absolutely. Yeah. What kept you encouraged during your time in quarantine, at least before stuff started to open back up? Would you say your family helped keep you motivated?
Yeah, and like I said, a really big thing for me is setting goals. I'd say, like, since it was my first semester at Towson, I was kind of like, I know where this is going to get me in the long term, and I know that finishing in the fall, I was like, okay, after this semester, I only have a year and a semester or whatever. I'm like, and what you do now will affect you in the future. So, like, reminding myself of that stuff and having a good, like, connection group or close friends, my peers in my classes, them being super motivated, like, just motivated me. And their energy, I think that really influenced me to keep pushing.
Yeah, I would say the same thing with my friends being in the same classes as I was. So we would just always text each other like, "Hey, do you understand this?" or "Hey, do you
Yeah.
get this?" It made me feel like I was less alone in my struggle, and we were all connecting. And I was the same with setting goals for myself, even if it was daily goals, just to get out of bed in the morning and just not sit there and do nothing. Because I knew I had stuff to do, but I also realized that all of this would hopefully come to pass, and life would soon become better and we'd get back to what we were doing before. So just trying to stay positive and all that negativity, that helped me get through that time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think staying optimistic, it's so easy to get down during all this. So just staying optimistic and always checking in with your friends. And, I think this is a hard time for anyone. This is like almost a year later and we're still in this pandemic. So, yeah, I think it is very important just having a good connection group and just friends to surround yourself with.
Yeah, absolutely. Talk to me about life growing up in Calvert County for you as a kid. I know we came up together in middle school and high school, but as a kid, what was life like for you here?
I gotta think about that. So I moved to Calvert County, I think when I was like in second grade.
Oh.
And it's a small town, I'll say that. Everyone kind of knows everyone. I went to Calverton for up till second grade, and then I transferred, or we lived in PG County, and then we moved to Calvert County, and then that's when I went to Huntingtown Elementary. And everyone who I went to Huntingtown Elementary, I saw later in high school, which was super weird because either half of them went to Plum Point with me, the other half went to Northern, so I didn't see them for 3 years or whatever. And then when you go to Huntingtown High, it's like, whoa, you're like that kid from my 5th grade class. So much older. And it's, like I said, going back to the small town, everyone knows each other, I'd say, for the most part, especially your graduating class. We're not really a big school at all, or a big county. And one thing being at Towson, everyone's like, where are you from? Nobody knows Calvert County. Nobody. So I've always just I'm always Southern Maryland, if you know where that is, or south of Annapolis.
Yeah, funny story. I remember I was in D.C. for an art museum project, and the security guard was talking to us, and she was like, "Oh yeah, where you from?" I was like, "Calvert County," and she looked at me so funny. She was like, "What's that?" And my cousin was like, "Come on, Ced, she doesn't know what Calvert County is." I'm 18 at the time. I was like, "How am I supposed to know? I know what it is." So it's I knew then. It's okay, I had to tell people I'm from Southern Maryland or I'm near Waldorf or something like that because people know Waldorf. So.
Oh, yeah, well, even somebody asked me where I was from. This is at Towson. This is a year ago, but he was from PG County, and he didn't know where Calvert... And I'm like, that's so close to you. How do you not know where it is? It exists, but, yeah. And when I do find someone that does know what Calvert County is, I'm just mind blown. I'm like, oh, my gosh.
Yeah, exactly. I like how you said also, when you got to high school and you saw people from, Huntingtown Elementary, and you saw them all grown up. I can remember going to Plum Point Elementary and just thinking, that's my little bubble. And all of the kids in my grade, they're going to follow me to Plum Point Middle. And then you see all these fresh faces and new people, and it's who are you? Where did you come from, But I just thought that was kind of cool how each grade or district, if I'm saying that correctly, they all migrate to the same middle school or high school as things start to progress.
Yeah. I remember being so upset because at Huntingtown Elementary, like I said, they split it. It's 50-50. Half goes to Northern Middle, half goes to Plum Point. And my best friend, I was so sad because I was going to Plum Point and she was going to Northern Middle. And I was just absolutely distraught. We were trying to figure out ways to get her to come to school with me. And then it was crazy because then when we went to high school together, we actually ended up staying really good friends again.
Right. Do you still have good, close contact with your friends that you came with from middle school and high school?
Oh, yeah, totally. That's one thing I love about, Calvert County. I mean, everyone has their own opinion about Calvert County, but I love that most of my friends I've been friends with forever. At least it feels like forever, especially from Plum Point Middle. I'm still, I'd say pretty close with them. And, even though I'm up living in Towson, social media is definitely a really, nice thing to keep and stay connected with others, or even, FaceTime. It's so easy today. and it makes it like really nice to stay connected, especially like as we get busier and older and, you know, life and, you know, moving apart or whatever. It's so nice to have that, just one thing to stay connected.
Yeah, I fall into that category of like I've kind of moved on with my life, so I don't really talk to a lot of people from high school, but like it's through the podcast that I get the chance to interview and talk to people who I came up with in school and we may haven't even talked to in years, but just hearing about their lives and what they're doing and how they're at the point in their life now based off of the skills that we've all learned together in school. It's really fascinating, and it's pretty cool just getting a chance to talk with different people from different backgrounds and just to feel them out. It's a pretty cool experience on my part.
Yeah, how many podcasts have you done?
You're actually my 79th episode.
Oh my God. That's crazy. Congrats. That's a lot.
Yeah, thank you. We're going to be coming up on a year in May with the podcast, so we'll be celebrating then. But it's been crazy just hustling and grinding, getting all these episodes out. Like, it's just incredible.
Absolutely. When I was getting up this morning, I'm like, Cedric is grinding, man. Like, he's keeping up. Like, just, I know just school itself is like, that's a lot. Like, that's a lot itself. And then having, you know, you said you work at the daycare and then having a podcast, that's a job itself too.
It is a lot. Yeah. It's
recruiting people and coming up with questions. Good for you. Yeah. I mean, that keeps you busy.
It is. It's like I found myself having to cut back certain things in my life just to either accommodate this or accommodate school and work. And it falls back into the time management things of what can I give my time more to. Like, there's probably a week where I don't do a recording, but I'm planning out the different people I want to have on, or I may not focus on school as much, and I'll catch up on that on like a weekend, and I'll just give my attention to this. So it's all about time, and you figure out over time what you should value more. And this is my baby, so I don't want to just completely drop it. So I like to give my attention to this.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure that part out with what you got to accommodate and what you have to lessen of. I mean, because right now I'd say this semester is probably my craziest with my 15 credits, all online, and then I have 2 jobs.
Oh, man.
And then keeping a social life. Something's got to go, but I haven't figured out what I want to let go.
Exactly. That's a battle. I think the only time I worked 2 jobs was the summer going into my freshman year of college, and I was like, I don't think I can do this. This is difficult, but
I'm just like, I'm one who really likes to hustle. Like, the busier I am, the better.
Yeah, of course.
But I think I'm at the point I might be overdoing it. I mean, my classes are okay, but I need to put more focus towards it. And this is my, like, senior semester. So I'm like, I want to hang out with friends and enjoy life before I actually enter the workforce and,
right.
Just end up working every day.
Yeah,
So
burnout is the worst. I've experienced that. It is the worst, just burning out completely and not knowing just what to do in general. Like, I've had instances this semester where it's just like, I quit. Like, I don't know what to do, but I always wake up the next morning, I get up early, and I look at my schedule, and I just try to tackle what I can and give myself rest when I need to, because I feel like it's always good to stay busy, but you should also have that downtime to truly rest. Like, Sundays, those are my day of rest. Like, that's when I'm really catching up on sleep, taking 2.5-hour naps, just resting so I can keep my mind sane.
No, I completely understand. My jobs, I still tutor virtually for the College of Southern Maryland. So I do that Friday and Saturday, and then Sunday I have an internship, and I actually commute and go in person for that. So when I say 7 days a week, it's literally like grind. But I mean, I'm figuring it out.
Right.
You can ask me at the end of the semester how it's going.
Yeah. We'll do a follow-up episode.
I know, really. Yeah, you could say. So what did you end up giving up with?
Right. What are some of the hobbies that you do when you do have your downtime? Because I know with me, I try to write or stay outside when the weather's nice and do some coloring. What are things that you like to do?
Ooh, coloring's fun.
Yeah.
I'd say for me, I recently picked up, over winter break, I built a PC. And so I've gotten into gaming. That's actually something I really hope to get more into. I really hope to start streaming. But you can't be a gamer and do well in school.
Right, exactly.
It's like that's a big hobby. So I've kind of like hitting it, picking at it a couple days a week, but I've really gotten into that. And then also going outside or really big into going to the gym, like physical activity. If I didn't go to the gym, I'd probably be going crazy during all this.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's my energy's got to go somewhere. So
it has to. Yeah, I would say gaming's my thing. Also, when I try to find time to just play the Xbox and just play online with my friends, I always try to do that. I know now it's probably been about a couple days since I've turned it on, but gaming also, like I'll find myself playing for hours on end when I finish all of my homework, just straight up chilling and having fun.
That's what I need to do is if I finish my homework. But see, that's the thing with having a PC is I'll get on and do homework, but then I'm like, oh, I could play a game right now and take a break, and
right.
then easily distracted. So I'm trying to figure all that out. I haven't been too bad, but like I said, I have a goal for streaming, so I need to get more hours in, but school comes first.
Yeah, exactly. And it goes back to like time management also and figuring out your wants and needs because you want to do all of these things so much, but at the end of the day, you have to do this, and this. And if you don't do that, it's going to be like a domino effect. Everything is just going to fall apart and then you're going to really be stuck in a rut and in shambles. So it's a hard answer. I don't even have the answer when creating time for myself, but I think rest is key, and I think once you get rest, your mind is able to be energized to tackle whatever you need to do.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I mean, if you don't set aside time for yourself, like, it will hit you. Like, life will hit you. Absolutely,
Yeah, because
you'll end up with a breakdown or something. Yeah.
Exactly. How do you fit, I know we talked about this earlier, but with, like, working out and everything, like, what's the importance of working out and maintaining a healthy diet, especially as a college student? Because I suffered with that also, with not prioritizing my physical health and working out and all that stuff. Like, it took a toll on me. So what's the importance of doing that?
Well, I'd say it's definitely, even, I mean, for anyone, physical activity is super important. I mean, this is our, body. You only get one of them. You got to maintain it. And keeping a healthy diet as well. I mean, that's where you get all your energy to keep you focused and keep you going. I mean, but I think another thing is to understand it's okay if, you don't eat healthy one day or have cheat days or you miss the gym. I mean, it's during this pandemic. I mean, everyone's going through it. You can't be hard on yourself during this. But if I didn't go to the gym, like, I think I'd be going crazy. And because I'm just in my apartment. I mean, that's just it. And I don't really see anyone because my family's back at home. I might see a friend every once in a while, but with work and school, I don't really get too much interaction. So I think going to the gym is a good out for me and keeping up with everything.
Yeah, last week I overdid it when it came to like working out because it was nice for like a 2 to 3 day period. So I was outside jogging, but I was also inside lifting weights in my basement with my cousin. And then my body was just really tired. So it just got to a point where it's like, man, I really want to go work out, but my body is just so drained. Like, I think I need to just stay in the bed for the day and just rest and just not move. And that was always a battle for me because in my mind, I always feel like I have to be busy and to be on the go just so I can accomplish stuff. But I've also learned that you could be doing so much stuff, but you could just be still standing there. You're just stagnant. You're not really doing nothing, even though you think you are. So I think that taught me that I have days where I should rest, and that's okay, like the weekends, because my priorities are straight. There's nothing wrong with that. But in terms of rest, I'm still learning myself that I have to take care of myself.
Yeah, no, that's super important is listening to your body, because, like, it's so easy to be hard on yourself. Like, you need to do this today, you need to do that. But, like, sometimes, like, your body's like, all right, slow it down here.
Yeah.
Like, take it easy, especially if you're going, like you said, a couple days or even in the beginning if you're just getting into routine. Like, your body's going to need a break,
Yeah, especially like at work because it was nice out. So we was outside and all the kids was chasing me around trying to tag me playing tag. So I was working out there too. So it was like my body was feeling it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, kids, that's a whole job.
It is a whole job. I don't know how I do it, but I do it regardless.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but what piece of advice would you give to someone struggling to find a schedule or find a routine for themselves? Because I know it's really difficult for some people to, really just sit down and examine what they should do. What would you say to someone struggling as a tutor yourself?
Absolutely, man. I struggled with that all of high school. I mean, I didn't have a schedule in high school, and it shows. But that's one thing I created freshman year in college, and I stuck with it. And my piece of advice is, for me personally, if I don't write it out, I will forget. Like, there's too much going on. Like, there is, and sitting down and writing, exam dates. Like, how are you expected to do well if you're not going to keep in the back of your head, in a couple of weeks I have an exam coming up? Because then when it hits you, the class right before the exam, and they're like, oh, yeah, you have an exam, you're going to be, like, act surprised. But it's your responsibility, especially at this age. You can't really blame anyone when you miss something or, you know what I mean? Like, we're adults now. We are responsible for what is on our schedule or plate.
Exactly. Like, we have to own up to that. I remember in January, I was taking a winter class, and we were supposed to meet on that day. And I completely forgot because we only meet once out of the week, and I was doing 2 winter classes. So I completely forgot. And even though my grade wasn't affected by it, I still got down on myself because I was like, man, like, I should have been on it. Like, I should have remembered you have class Monday at 10 a.m. Like, that's no excuse. And I'm my biggest critic. I'll be hard on myself more than anybody else. So it taught me that I have to remain consistent with scheduling, because even though I know I should do it, there has to be a level of consistency there.
Yeah, and I mean, you can, if anything, like, I agree. There are sometimes I literally will totally forget something. Like, Saturday, I'm supposed to enter my time for tutoring, and it was due at midnight, and it was like 11:30, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I went home last weekend, so I didn't have my huge desk calendar out. But if anything, when you do miss something, you learn from it. You know what I mean? Like, all right, something's got to change, or, this is not okay. Like, and if anything, I think it can be a benefit to yourself because you realize, okay, something's got to go, or I need to change a habit because we can't be forgetting stuff out here.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like in high school, that should have been kind of prioritized more. I mean, of course, teachers always stress the need to, make sure you remember to do your stuff. But sometimes I feel like they gave us too many chances when I think that should have been more kind of stern with us just to prepare us for college, because just entering college and not having that right mindset to have your priorities in check, it's almost like a wake-up call when a professor doesn't give you a chance for another test or assignment. So I don't know. It's hard because it's like, what more can you do to someone who doesn't want to put in the work?
Oh, I agree. And, most of the people that are freshmen going into college are either 17 or 18. They're literally right out of high school. And, their bad habits are probably coming with them.
Right.
So, and in college, like, sorry, like you said, there's no retakes or redo assignments. Like, you're lucky if you find a professor that will.
Oh, yeah.
And they find you as an adult when you're coming to college. Like, you are responsible for what is on your plate and whatever they give you. So, like, it shows if you created bad habits.
Right. When you was in high school, was your grades a big priority for you, or were you just there and it was just like, it doesn't really matter?
I'd go with B. I was just there. I mean, I hate to say it. I was honestly just like, young kid and just not mature yet. And yeah, totally. I would say grades were important to me, but I don't think I saw them where they would get me long term, like as they do now.
Exactly.
Like, it's definitely two completely different people.
Yeah, I relate to that because my grades, it was all about the short term for me. Like, it's like, okay, I need to pass this class so I can get to the next grade, or so senior year I can get that half schedule like I want to so I can go home early. And of course I had college in the back of my mind thinking of, oh, like, I need to make sure my grades are right so I can get into college. But at the same time, I didn't have the study habits like I do now as I was as a junior or a sophomore or senior in high school. I was just kind of complacent, I figured, okay, I'm going to get a retake on this. I'll come in during lunch and then just try my best, and then we'll just go from there. But it taught me in a lot of ways to, I guess, prepare for college. But college was what really changed my mind with school and grades and just how important things are, because college is a lot of money, and for you to fail a class, that's just a waste of money. It was just a waste of your time, and now you got to take the class over again. So those professors really do like shake you up once you get there.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Going back to being in high school, yeah, I was just there going through the movements, you know, and like you said, you know, I might have been laid up the night before, even having an exam, and I'd be like, whatever I get, I'll just retake it, you know?
Yeah.
That was my mindset in high school. And then I think having gone through that in high school, I was like, all right, this is not going to work in college, you know? If there's no retake, when they, you know, when I realized that, I was like, all right, hold up. I actually have to study now.
Right.
So I started creating, I think, good habits and really good time management while transitioning from high school to college.
Right. Did you take any AP classes in high school?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I started taking them junior year, and I think that slowly prepared me because those teachers had high expectations for their students, and some kids, they didn't really care. Like, they were just there to be there, and they could take a test and get an A just like that. I remember Miss Hutson's class. Her tests were so hard. I could never pass them to save my life. And then here's like this one kid. Here's this one kid. He doesn't even pay attention for all the vocabulary quizzes. Doesn't even participate in class, but he can get an A on the test. And it's like, how did you do that? You're not even, paying attention. But she really helped prepare me for college just with being everything due at the end of every week and always being like, consistent with everything. It wasn't like she didn't care. It's like she was passionate about, teaching us and preparing us. So those AP classes did help prepare me for college.
Yeah, no, I agree, and a little bit. AP, I think they were good to take, but also like you learn it over a whole year.
Right.
Now in college, you're 14 weeks, 15 weeks, whatever it is. So when I took Calc 1, I mean you have the whole year to learn that. Versus in college, when I took Calc 3, that was like literally just you had to put so much more time studying, and then also like AP, all my teachers let us retake or do something to better our grade. In college, no, that wasn't the case. No. You got what you earned. That's literally what would happen, and I mean, in a sense, we were, minors and still, you can't just throw them into, college actual classes. But yeah, I agree with Headline. I think her having she throws so much at us. Oh my gosh. And that's how it is today, in college. You might not necessarily get a lot from one class, but you're taking more than one class, it piles on. You can have a ton of stuff. And especially because you need to do a lot for assignments. If you have a paper, you need to put ahead time to read or create a draft and, do all that stuff. So it's not like you can just type out a paper the night before.
Yeah, it's you have to plan because there's no such thing as the last minute when it comes to a paper. You literally have to plan everything out. And even in the middle of the pandemic, I had to learn that because there would be times where I was just up late at night just typing out a paper, getting up so early in the morning, just finishing out 2 to 3 paragraphs of a paper that I didn't even start when I should have, but I didn't want to. I didn't have the motivation to do it. And it's you have to prepare for that stuff because when you're doing it at the last minute, sure, you probably have a lot of inspiration going, but you could probably be talking about something that has nothing to do with the topic. So it's just you have to plan for everything.
Yeah, no, I think we're all guilty of that.
Yeah, we all are.
Yeah, especially during the pandemic. Man, that created some bad habits.
Yeah. Do you think high school students should take one college class at a community college, let's say, to prepare for college, or do you think they should just wait it out?
Oh, I mean, I'm a student who did do dual enrollment. So I actually, my senior year, I had 4 classes at the high school, and I took 2 classes at the community college. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. I am 100% on that. One, it's half the cost for students. So $600 class, it's $300. You can't beat that.
Right.
And there's so many, like, entry levels. Like, they limit what you can take, but there's so many, like, it's not like I didn't think they were crazy hard. And it prepares you for, if you're going to community college or even college-level classes, if you plan on going to a 4-year, even a 2-year, it prepares you for the classes, and you get to be with other adults. You know what I mean? So you're a 17, 18-year-old in a college class, which I thought was really cool, just, you know, being outside of Huntingtown High. You're with the same people. You know, you might have a class with, you know, your one friend. You see them 3 times a day, you know, in a class or something. And driving over to the community college, yeah, no, I totally think that's a great way to go, because those classes, for me, since I went to community college, they all counted. So it just, if anything, it put me ahead versus, like, AP credits. They're not necessarily guaranteed either. So I totally think the dual enrollment is a good way to go, and especially because it's a class. You're not taking AP. It's all based on that one exam at the end of the year that you're going to stress over, and you need a certain score because your school only takes that score or whatever, versus dual enrollment. I think a lot more places are opting to take that credit.
Yeah, exactly. I know with Hudson's class, she wanted everybody to take the AP test. She was like, if you guys don't take the test, I'm going to give you a test similar to it, and I'm going to make it a product grade. So I was like, you know what? I'm saving all my money up trying to pay to take this AP test because I knew I wasn't going to pass that test. But, I mean, it was good experience, but I agree with you. Like, I took honors comp and ret with Miss Moreland at Huntingtown senior year, and that class was equivalent to the English 1010 class that CSM takes, only I wasn't going to get a credit for that class. But it followed the same motto and the same style. So I learned everything that entire year to prepare me for 1010 that next semester. So once I took 1010, I knew all the writing styles, how to write a college paper correctly. So I got an easy A just by taking that class that modeled a college class. But I do recommend that students do take at least 1, maybe 2 classes preparing to go to college, or maybe even taking a class in the summer before the fall semester, because it does prepare them for that lifestyle and they won't be taken surprised by anything.
Yeah, no, I had Miss Moreland, and I did that dual enrollment class, and I agree. I mean, it's too good of a deal not to, you know what I mean?
Right.
I have a sister, Angela. She's a senior in high school at Huntingtown High. And I think she's on, like, her 5th dual enrollment class or something. Oh, yeah, she's crazy. I mean, she is crazy. But she took, like, 1 in the summer. No, I think she took 2 in the summer, 2 in the fall. She's taking chemistry right now. She's just, like, I don't know. I guess her goal is trying to, transfer in with as many credits as she can. But
right.
It's just, I mean, half a cost of a college class that you're going to need. Might as well, especially if you're taking a short schedule.
Right, yeah. You and your siblings, you guys are workhorses. You guys are beasts. Ain't no way. Ain't no way in high school I'd be doing something like that.
Yeah, I mean, you had my mom as a sub, right?
Oh, yeah, I had your mom as a sub. Your mom was always like, she wasn't stern, but I knew she wasn't that sub to mess with, that I could, get one over. Like, she was always one step ahead of the curve. Like, I could never get one over her. Not that I wanted to, but but she was one of those subs that didn't really play.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, my mom has shaped us into, like, the students we are today. I mean, 100%. And even today, I'm like, I asked my mom, I mean, she's got, my 5 younger siblings. She doesn't care what I'm doing right now, but she's like, I always like, Mom, I'm like, what about my classes? Like, this is a lot. And she's like, do the best you can, and in my head, I'm like, oh, that's not what I wanted to hear.
Yeah, exactly.
I just wanted to hear, like, it's fine. Whatever you get is fine. But I know, like, she wants me to get those A's, and there's just so, like, especially higher level classes, when you get to your, like, junior, senior year, your classes just get so much harder, and they pick up. They just get more intense.
Yeah.
And so, I'd say 100%. My mom, yeah, she's created the work ethic we have today.
Yeah, and that was, I kind of like trained myself to have that work ethic. Because I remember in middle school, like 6th grade, I didn't really do so great on my report card. So like my entire family just got on me. And then from there, I was like, I don't want this to happen again. Like I got all my stuff taken away. So I just started grinding. And then from there, like I cared so much about my work. Not so because it would better my future, but because I didn't want my stuff to get taken away. But either way, I was working hard regardless, and it inspired me to always have A's and B's, like no C's. And then when I got to college, I started getting straight A's from spring semester my freshman year onwards. I was like, okay, I can't get a B. Like that's not enough. I don't want that. And then I think this is the first semester where I think I'm going to get a B or a C. Like I don't want it, but these classes are just so hard, and it's just like I can't meet my expectations every single time, because I know my family, they'll be proud of me regardless just for passing the class, but I want those straight A's regardless. But sometimes it's just not worth it over your mental health, just stressing out over it.
No, literally, this is so funny you talking about this, because I was talking to my friend about it last night. I'm in the same boat. Since I've been in college, I've only gotten A's. And my GPA is really high. I mean, I've worked for it. That's, and I'm graduating in the fall, a semester early. So I'm like, this semester is crazy for me because I'm taking senior level classes. I'm in like 400, 300. And it's a lot of work. It is. And I don't think necessarily the classes are insanely difficult that I can't get an A. It's just I'm working as well. Right. And I'm busy 7 days a week. I don't have that Sunday I used to have to catch up on my work, and it's just like crazy. And I'm like, it's my last semester, like full time up here. In the fall, I'm only part time. So I'm like, I want to hang out with my friends because and have a social life, at least a little bit while in this pandemic, and, at least a little leeway. And I'm like, your mental health, I don't want to. Last semester, I just absolutely grinded. I did nothing but school, which was fine. But I'm like, this is my last semester full time living up in Towson. I don't know if I want to be, just grinding. And I agree. I might get a B. And I'm like, I don't know how that's going to affect me mentally because you're the same boat. We've only gotten A's. It's like, I know I can do it, but then also you need some leeway. A B is not bad. It really isn't. Right. You need to accept it, but it's like I feel like after the fact, you're like, man, I really probably could have gotten an A. You know what I mean? But it's like you have to see where you prioritize stuff, and is it worth over stressing? The little things. Like a B is not bad at all. I mean, for being in college, right? Not at all. Yeah. Again, you should applaud yourself for even making this far with all A's, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Like my last semester of CSM, I was stressing myself out just to get all A's in my 5 classes, and I really wanted it so bad. And once I got it, I expected like a pat on the back, kind of like a congratulations almost with the graduation ceremony, and of course COVID ruined that. So it's like here I am. I'm at the end of the finish line. I got what I wanted, but I'm burnt out. And I just thought to myself, like, man, was it really worth stressing myself out and burning myself out? Like, I already got into my school that I wanted to get in. My GPA was already perfect, and I just burnt myself out, just stressing myself out with school and work, trying to get this one goal. And now I feel like, it's just, I felt like it wasn't worth it in a lot of ways. Obviously, I'm proud of myself for getting all A's in 5 classes in college. That's impossible for some people. But it's like at the same time when I burnt out, I was just like, hey, man, it wasn't worth it. Because now I'm sitting here tired, drained. I don't feel like doing nothing. And I don't know. That's why I think rest is key, and you have to find the balance of that.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. I mean, like you said, it is, for some people, they look at you and they're like, how? You know what I mean? Like, so many people are like, Bizz, you are so smart. Like, a B's not bad. Like, they only get B's. But I'm like, everyone has their different expectations, you know what I mean, of themselves. And for me, making it this far with getting, really high grades, I'm like, but like you go back, is it worth burning yourself out? And, at this age we are, you get all A's, you don't really get anything for that except, just like feeling good and, your own pat on the back. My mom's not telling me good job. I mean, she's got my 5 younger siblings, and I'm in college. It's kind of expected. Do the best you can. It's not the same as high school where some people got money for their report cards, or whatever. I mean, I wasn't one of them, but people did. And, but when you're in college, it's more like your own personal goals and getting the straight A's. You're the only one patting yourself on the back. I mean, so it's really like what you expect of yourself and what you can do,
Yeah, exactly. And I think I also went through a period where my family was hyping me up, and they were like, said, like, congratulations, like, you're doing your thing, you're so smart. And it felt like they're not seeing me behind the scenes. Like, they're not seeing me at 10, 11 at night, stressing myself out, tossing and turning, not getting enough sleep because I'm stressing over this exam. And it just felt like I was putting pressure on myself to keep, doing my thing and go the extra mile. It was just like, how can I push the envelope to keep doing better so I can keep making them proud while not realizing that they're already proud of me, so I can just take a step back and just, keep doing my thing because they're going to be proud of me regardless. So I think over time I'll understand it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And like I said, I think it's because I have my 5 younger siblings. My mom doesn't have time to, be patting me on the back. She's trained me to be where I'm at, and she knows I'm fine. I'll graduate, But it's just like when you've created that mindset, almost like, trying to be like perfect in a way. It's like, all right, take it back. Like, we're in a pandemic.
Right.
One, these are online classes. These are hard classes, And honestly, I've been thinking about this. This is our 3rd semester online, and this is our first semester where we don't have a summer break. We had our short winter break, and after grinding all fall online, this is exhausting. I mean, being the spring. I remember, like, any other semester, spring in person, you were kind of drained out anyway, but, like, it wasn't as bad. I think in this pandemic, being online, this spring semester has such a toll on everyone's, mentality and their mental health.
It is. It's weird. Like, I always seem to burn out after the spring semester. I don't know what it is. I think it's just a buildup of everything coming. And then, like you said, in the winter, you don't really get that much of a break. So you're still constantly grinding. And once you get to May and it's all over with, you seem relieved in a lot of ways. But it's like, now what? Now what do I do? Like, now this is all over with. What can I shift my energy and focus onto next? Because summer classes isn't for another month or so or another few weeks. So it's almost like, now what? Like, I always seem to struggle with that when I accomplish something big, and then it's like there's nothing for me afterwards. It's like I still struggle with that today, but like I said, it's all a balance, and I think over time I'll figure how to use my time when I'm not doing anything and just utilize my hobbies to keep myself happy.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And with, like you said, May comes, you're done with your classes. I'm just like, thank goodness. I need a second to breathe. It's kind of weird because you're like, now I'm done. Like, and especially because it's online. Like, there's no saying bye to your friends, going home for the summer or whatever. It's like, okay. And then me, I've always worked in the summer. So now I know, like, for me, it isn't really like a break from grinding. I know last summer I worked 3 jobs. So, like, I'm literally, when I say I'm grinding, I'm grinding. And it's like, I think that's one thing that's burned me out is last summer, 3 jobs, working in the fall and having classes. I worked over winter break. I think it's like I haven't given myself a chance to, recoup, take a break, breathe, That's what I'm hoping spring break is for. Yeah, I won't be working over then. So I'm hoping to catch up on everything during that.
Do you see yourself after graduating giving yourself time to take a break and just rest for a little bit?
That's a good question. I mean, yeah, that's hard to say because I think I really struggle with is having high expectations for myself. Like, what's the next thing? What am I going to do? Like, when fall classes ended, I was like, I need to work. I can't be sitting around. Like, me personally, staying busy is really important because, like, it's so easy to find things to let yourself get down about, especially when you spend too much time doing nothing. You know what I mean? And so I really wanted to work over winter break. And this fall I'll have 3 classes, and they'll probably be online. So I'm hoping to work part-time, and I'm hoping my internship in the summer will carry into the fall. And I think, honestly, I'm going to be working full-time right after the fall.
Yeah.
So that's something I know I need to give myself a break, and especially because, when you're done with your senior year, you should, take a month or something, spend time with your family, hang out with friends before you, start slaving away to, working every day over 40 hours a week. You definitely, I think finding time for yourself is important, but that's something I struggle with completely.
Yeah. I know my one friend, he just graduated from College Park a year early. So he's pretty much spent the majority of his life just working hard and grinding just to get to this point. And so now he's taking a year off to study for his medical test. I don't remember what the name, I don't know what it's called, but it's a test that you have to take to become like a doctor or something.
Yeah, to get into medical school. Yeah.
So he's spending the whole entire year doing that, but he's just chilling, living life, working on cars, doing what he loves. And it's like,
is that Gautam?
Yeah, that's Gautam. Yeah.
Shout out to Gautam.
Yeah, I always name drop him on the podcast, and I didn't want to name drop him this time, but I didn't know you and him were so close.
Yeah, well, we went to elementary school together, actually. I've known Gautam forever, because when you said graduated a year, oh my gosh. Good for him, though. He's taking a year to study and do his thing.
Yeah, mm-hmm. Yeah, he
I was
deserves
wondering
it.
what he was up to.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. He deserves it, and I think we all deserve it, too. I know with me, I don't know what I'm going to do when I graduate early, because I want to be a teacher. I want to get my foot in the door, become a teacher, do all that stuff, but I'm still grinding, working hard at the same time, so I don't know. Maybe I do take a year off and focus on the podcast, promote my book a little more, write another book. It's who knows?
Yeah, no, totally. I agree. And for me personally, that's something I struggle with is I'm constantly chasing something where I need to find time. It's okay to just, chill for a little bit. And one thing that's probably the most important thing to me is spending time with my family. I mean, I literally adore my family. They're when I tell people they're my best friends, they are my best friends, all of them. So I think when it comes down to it after the fall, hopefully taking a break. I mean, I was really hoping to travel, but COVID kind of
messed everything up.
Yeah, I did. So, I mean, who knows where we'll be in the fall/winter, but that was my plan originally, to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Just kind of celebrate, take time to myself.
Right. What made you choose CSM versus going to Towson immediately and doing 4 years there? Was there a reason why you stayed home for a little bit?
Looking back, now that I'm older and wiser, honestly, CSM was such a good move for me because I was pretty immature, not ready. If I had gone to a 4-year, I would have gotten eaten up, and, I just did not have the drive or the motivation that I created at CSM. I don't know if I would have created it at a 4-year, and I think, honestly, when it came down to it, I knew in the back of my head I wasn't ready to leave yet. I was and my older brother, he started at College Park his freshman year, and I knew I wanted to go to a 4-year, but my mom really emphasized, how much money you can save, ridiculous. I mean, I think almost everyone, unless you're getting a scholarship or something, community college is the way to go. I mean, you go to a 4-year and, you got to pay for living, you got to pay for food, then classes, versus starting at a community college, living at home. Honestly, I miss being at home. I struggle with making food every day.
Yeah.
It is so nice having, my mom. I mean, shout out to my mom, but, she always had dinner ready. I mean, I didn't have to worry about that.
Right.
And here I am living in an apartment. I'm that's my biggest struggle, too. It's all right, after I'm done studying, I have to go make food. And, if I don't have food, I got to go grocery shopping. It definitely is a big challenge going from living at home to living on your own. But I think everyone, unless you're getting a scholarship or there's something out there, I mean, not everyone's meant to start, or be living at home, I guess, when they're 18, 19. But for the most part, I think a lot of people sleep on community college. Definitely.
Yeah, I agree. I know with me, I wanted to go to university because I felt like I had to do that and get that university experience. But my mom was like, no, you're not I don't think you're ready for it. And deep down, I knew I wasn't ready to leave home. So that's when CSM was my choice. Because socially, I don't think I would have managed well being in a dorm, living with someone else. Because I've always been independent and been on my own. So to now have to share my space with somebody, it wouldn't have worked out. And I would have burnt out from all the work. And I would have had to come back home and start at CSM in the spring, which would have delayed me even further. So CSM was the best option for me, and obviously it worked out for me. I saved a lot of money. I learned more about college work and how professors are, and just everything that they taught me just prepared me for that next level. And plus, I talked to people that I didn't even talk to in high school, so it was like, it was familiar faces, but at the same time, I didn't know them. So I was still getting the chance to meet new people and talk with them. So it all worked out in the end with me for community college.
Yeah, no, looking back, I totally agree. I mean, I had such a good experience at CSM. Like, it was awesome. Like, I had a lot of fun. I learned a lot. I mean, it sucks that now it's online. Like, my other sister, Marge, is a freshman at CSM, but it's all been, online.
Right.
So she hasn't really gotten to experience it. But I thought CSM in person, because they would even have like little activities going on outside of, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
like,
I know what you're talking about. Like Mission Barbecue would come by.
Yeah. I mean, where are you going to get that at a 4-year university? Or like they'd have a petting zoo or stuff like that. So I think, community college, 100%. I'd recommend it to anyone. And most of the time, I mean, you're 17, 18. Do you know what you want to do?
Right.
Do you really know what you want to study? And that was my big thing. I mean, I had an idea, but I still didn't really know. It was just because everyone was applying to 4-year universities that I felt like I should be. But, looking back, how much money you save, you can't beat that either.
Right.
You can't.
Yeah, I was telling my friend this the other day, and it's like sometimes I miss how simple life was, especially when I was at CSM. And that's probably me saying that because I've never experienced being on a campus at a university, so I don't know what that social life is like to be on campus. But I know of my time at CSM, it was great, meeting up with friends in the library or just chilling and talking outside, just simple stuff, and seeing my professors face to face and asking questions like in person. It's like I miss that life, and that's probably me saying that. I miss CSM because I haven't been to a university on campus yet, but that might change in the next few years, or it may not. But I don't know. I miss it. That's just me being nostalgic.
Oh, I agree too. I mean, I only had a month at Towson on campus, so I'm kind of in the same boat, but I agree. Life was simple at CSM.
Right.
It really was.
Yeah. What made you choose Towson as your school? Because I know you said your brother went to College Park. What made you choose Towson?
At the time, they had a program that I was, only Towson offered it. So it made it pretty easy for transferring. It's actuarial science, like risk management. It's in their, finance department. Only Towson offers it in the state of Maryland. So it was pretty easy when picking, and I visited friends at Maryland and I visited friends at Towson, and for some reason I just really like Towson. It's different. It's further from home. I mean, it's still close enough. I go home all the time, but it's also like College Park. You're 40 minutes away from home.
Right.
You're really not that far. I remember my brother, he was at College Park, and all the time my dad would just be like, oh, you coming home this weekend? Versus my parents can't do that when I'm up here. It's an hour and a half drive. It takes a good bit of chunk out of my day.
Right. It's crazy. It seems like everybody I went to school with or everybody I know goes to Towson. Shout out Zach. I know he's probably listening to this. Probably not, but shout out him anyway. It's like I know everybody that goes to Towson. It seems like everybody goes to Towson or College Park, but it's fascinating because you're still growing up with people that you came up with as a kid, so you still get the chance to see them grow and develop.
I mean, I'm friends with Emily Campbell still. I mean, that's one we got together, I think, when I transferred here, and we're still good friends. It's crazy. I mean, it seems like a lot of people stick with their friends that are from their, hometown. I mean, I've met a lot of people, but also, same with Zach. Yeah, I mean, I've seen Zach a few times, and, just staying friends with people that are from Calvert County or hometown.
Yeah, exactly. Him and I work together, so that's how I know him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
so he might come back in the summer. I don't know, but that's how I know him. And me and Emily, I've known her since kindergarten. So literally, we came up together, especially at CSM. But we didn't follow each other through college.
You went your own separate ways.
Yeah, exactly. How do you feel that you've grown as a student and as a person from the time that you are now here at Towson up until, let's say, when you were in high school? How have you grown and matured?
Oh, I am a completely different person. I think I am like, who is she? In high school, I mean, I wasn't crazy or anything, but I would say pretty immature. I mean, I just was. I mean, I didn't prioritize the right stuff. I was always, on social media, like looking at the wrong. I didn't have like goals set. Like it just was different. Versus now, I feel like I'm a well-rounded model student. School comes first. Family. I prioritize that. Always like if friends want to hang out, unless my stuff is done, I don't hang out. I mean, I prioritize that versus like in high school, I'd be like, I can put that off,
Right.
Like it's not that big a deal, you find time versus in college. It's like you said, it's expensive. I'm not retaking this class,
Yeah.
And like you said, even the cost, but your time. Like, do you really want a class you could have done well the first time? Why mess that up,
Right.
Versus in high school, you can retake anything. And you have that in your mindset.
Exactly.
It's so bad.
It's terrible. I would say I grew a lot since high school compared to now, because in high school I wasn't as social. I wasn't really opening myself up to others. I just kept with my friend group, and that was it. Like, I wasn't opening myself up to anybody else. And I was looking at social media also, looking at the wrong things, constantly just comparing myself to others and feeling like I had to meet other people's standards, or I should not be myself to be like them so I can get the attention that they have. But since being off social media, taking breaks, obviously taking a chance with this podcast, reaching out to other people and just communicating well, it taught me that I've always had these skills inside. I just didn't know how to express it. So now that I do know how to express it, that's helped me to become successful and helped me get to where I'm at now as a junior in college.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, Cedric. I totally agree. I mean, constantly comparing yourself. I mean, social media it has its, benefits, but it can, you're your own worst critic, and you can tear yourself down so easy, especially with it. And yeah, during school, I try to stay off social media. I try to focus on school. And I agree. In high school, I mean, I'd say I'm still just as friendly, but at least in college, I like anyone. We're all here, like, I feel like I wouldn't say that it was judgmental, but like maybe I wouldn't be as open to being friends with someone that I didn't know versus in college. I'll be friends with anyone. I really don't,
Yeah.
Like, if someone can talk to me, then sure. I love making friendships. That is like something, and I've noticed that going to college, like how much I really enjoy company from other people and meeting new people. So I'd say as a person, like, I agree. It's so easy in high school to stay to your one little group, and not branch out versus in college. And just like being this age, you realize none of it matters, like we're all here. We're all going through stuff. None of it matters. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's crazy when I reflect when I was like 18, 19, and I was so stressed out about all this other stuff and all these other things. It's like now I'm 20, going on 21 in July, and it's like, oh, that stuff don't even matter to me now. It's like that's the least of my worries or my concerns now.
Oh, yeah.
Because now I know my purpose, and now I'm on my purpose, chasing the goal that I want to achieve to get to the next step in my life. So it's crazy how you evolve as a person, but you have to work hard on it yourself. It's like nobody's going to do it for you to get to where you want to go. You got to do it yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just being, 20, 21, where we are right now, we're adults. I mean, we are. Nobody's going to, help you with you're on your own. You are, and you are responsible. And that's so much different when we were in high school because we had so much help from outside. You know what I mean? Parents, teachers, guidance counselors, all that. You had help. But now it's like you're kind of on your own. You are what you make of yourself in each day. you're responsible for your actions, your words, and everything.
Yeah.
Versus in high school, your hormones, you're going through it, whatever. I feel like you kind of just get the excuse. There's no excuses now,
Exactly. It's like I look for encouragement from others when I need it the most, and I'm kind of down on myself, but I try not to depend on that and rely on that to make myself better. It's like I always try to hold myself accountable at the end of the day if I mess up, and I don't want to blame anyone else for my screw-ups, because we're young, we're going to screw up, that's just inevitable, but we have to hold ourselves accountable and look in the mirror and say, okay, you messed up today, so how can we fix this tomorrow?
Yeah, no, that's a really good thing to point out. I mean, I agree. And you learn your own little things that give you encouragement, I think, at this age. Is like, for me, my sister taught me this, but like my wallpaper on my phone, I always put some type of encouraging message. So whenever because everyone's always on their phone. So like when I log in, it kind of like reminds me, like for my goals or encouragement to keep going. Because especially this pandemic, and I guess being in the winter season, at least from everyone I've talked to, it's been rough. It really has been rough, especially now. So finding little things that keep you encouraged or keep you positive energy, and especially because our energy rubs off on other people. I mean, so it's important to try to stay focused and carry a positive attitude. It's so easy to get down, especially now. Definitely.
Yeah, it's like I'm glad now that the weather is starting to get better as time goes on, because we went through like a 2-week period where it was raining or it was snowing and it was just cold out, and I need to be outside like in the light because that improves my mood. That makes me feel better. So I had times where I was just stuck in the house and just kind of like I'm just kind of down, and it's not my fault. That's just how my brain works. My brain, it craves that vitamin D to be outside, but that's when you got to find ways to accommodate yourself. But it's absolutely a terrible season, and I'm hoping for better weather.
I agree. Yeah. There was the ice storm we had.
Yeah, we did have that ice storm.
Yeah, no, I agree. I am ready for spring. I'm ready for sunshine, to be outside, I think, and especially we're forced to be inside right now anyway,
right,
because of the pandemic. So it doesn't help when it's winter and it's freezing.
Exactly. Yeah. My last question to you, before I go ahead and let you go, is if you could offer a piece of advice to your old self, your younger self, right now, what would you tell that young Bizz?
Life goes on. The things I made a big deal out of, a lot of things really don't matter. You know what I mean? And, like, the little things that I did worry about, I wish, you're older, you're wiser now. You realize, wow, that was dumb, what I stressed over or whatever, or cared about. And, like, we're all here just on this planet. Like, we're all going through it. I think kindness is super important, and spreading, like, a positive energy. I mean, we all rub off on each other, what we carry. So, like, carrying a positive energy and being kind to others, that can make other people's days and can spread. And I think that's super important. And I would, my younger self, just being kind and carrying a positive energy is super important.
Yeah, I agree. Like, there'll be times where I'll find myself walking into work and I could be so burnt out from the day, from my classes, assignments, and whatnot, and I'm just drained. And sometimes that's like my energy. Like, you can feel that with my energy.
Yeah.
And then I'll have some people that'll be like, hey, what's up, Ced? And then that'll help me loosen up. And then the kids will see me and they'll just lighten up. And then from there, I'm just like loosened up. And it just goes back to spreading kindness and positivity to others, because some people need that encouragement. And I have days where I'm just upbeat and I got energy and I'm just pumped up, and I'm the one providing that encouragement to others. So I think when you find that balance to, control your emotions, but also not be afraid to talk to someone if you're feeling a certain type of way, that will help you get through your battles and help you become more encouraged.
Yeah, it's crazy how, like, just energy can, rub off on people, Like, what you say or what you do can affect people. And if you're carrying a positive energy and just being kind, that can influence so many. You would make somebody's day and you don't even know it, you know?
Absolutely.
So I think it's super important to carry that trait.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Bizz, thank you so much for your time. We shot the breeze for over an hour. The time just went by so fast, and I had a great time doing this with you.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. This is so cool. My first podcast. Yeah. This is so fun.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can check this off your belt now. Another notch checked off.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, take care, Biz.
You too.
Yeah. All right, this wraps up this edition of the podcast. Stay blessed and stay encouraged.